This video is on multiplying with scientific notation. Multiplying with scientific notation. So our first example, we'll go through it really slow, is 2 times 10 cubed times 5 times 10 cubed. So our first step, well, let's identify some things first. The 2 is the coefficient, the 10 is the base, the 3 is the exponent. Okay? So step 1, you're going to want to multiply the coefficients. So the 2 and the 5 are your coefficients, so you're going to want to multiply those two numbers together and get 15. The second thing you want to do is to add the exponents. Remember that the base remains the same. In this case, of course, with scientific notation, your base is always 10. So you're going to add the exponents. So 10 to the third power plus 10 to the third power is equal to 10 to the sixth power. The base stayed the same. I added my exponents because that's the rule for adding exponents when you're multiplying with the same base. Alright, step 3, I want to look at the whole problem completely, and I'm going to rewrite it. I have 15 times 10 to the 6. Now remember, I've got the 15 for multiplying my coefficients, 2 times 5. And I got the 10 to the 6 from adding my exponents, 3 plus 3 is 6. Now if you notice, this is not in scientific notation. Because in scientific notation, that coefficient has to be smaller than 10. Right now it's greater than 10. So we need to move the decimal. So our last step is to move the decimal so the answer is in scientific notation. And remember, when you move the decimal, the exponent will change to reflect the number of places the decimal was moved. So in this case, right now the decimal is here. To get it into scientific notation, we need to move it one place to the left. Since I moved the decimal to the left, that means I need to add 1 because I moved it one place to the left, so I add 1. Which means our number in scientific notation is 1.5 times 10 to the 7th. Okay? So 2 times 10 to the 3rd times 5 times 10 to the 3rd is 1.5 times 10 to the 7th. Alright, let's look at another example. Alright, the next example is 2.2 times 10 to the 4th times 7.1 times 10 to the 5th. Alright, the first thing we want to do is look at these coefficients, and we want to say, well, what is 2.2 times 7.1? And the answer is 15.62. Okay? The next step that we want to look at is adding these exponents. Alright, so the base stays the same, times 10, and we have 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay? Now on to the last step. Again, here is our decimal. Okay? But this is not where we want our decimal. We want our decimal here, so our number is greater than 1 but less than 10. So I'm going to move this decimal one place to the left. By moving it one place to the left, that means I add 1 here, and my answer is 1.562 times 10 to the 10th. Okay, let's look at another example. Alright, 6 times 10 to the 5th times 7 times 10 to the 6th. So again, step 1, we look at those coefficients and we say 6 times 7, which is 42. Our base remains the same. And then we look at our exponents, and we have 5 plus 6, and so that is 11. Okay, again, our decimal is here. We want to move it one place to the left, so that means that we need to add 1. And then we are going to have 4.2 times 10 to the 12th. Our next example. Alright, now we have some negative numbers. Alright, so we still want to look at our coefficients. We have 3 times 2, which is 6. And our base remains the same. And now we have negative 6 plus a negative 4. and that is going to be a negative 10. Now, our coefficient is less than 10, it is greater than 1, so we don't have to move the decimal here. Okay, it stays exactly where it's at, which means our coefficient stays where it's at. All right, our next example. We have 3 numbers that we're going to be looking at now, 3 numbers. So now we need to say, well, what are our coefficients? We have 5 times 8 times 4.2. And 5 times 8 times 4.2 is 168. Again, our base remains the same at 10. Okay? So now we have 7, negative 6, and 4. So 7 minus 6 is 1. Plus 4 is 5. So we have 10 to the 5th. Again, right now our decimal is here. And we want to move it 2 places to the left. So plus 2. So we have 1.68 times 10 to the 7th. Okay. This is multiplying using scientific notation. Multiplying using scientific notation.